Hello and welcome to a tutorial. So last week I uploaded a video that I made together with Skyflip, and I really enjoyed making that video. So definitely go check it out and definitely go subscribe to Skyflip because he makes some awesome content. But yeah, that video was about a 5x5 door that's only 363 blocks in volume, and it's the smallest 5x5 that does not use any slime blocks. So today I want to show you how to build it, and let's get started. So I have the frame right here, and the input is on the back of the door, so all of your door blocks are going to be right here, and your wall can be right here in this layer. So let's get started with the yellow circuits for the sides. You want to get started by placing 3 hoppers like this, and then 2 torches on either side of that input block. And then we're gonna get started with the right side of the door. So we have an observer and then 2 normal pistons, and then another piston right here. So this piston will be updated by that piston, which will also update this observer and power that piston. So both pistons fire one tick after the other, and they're both gonna push up some pillars. So the left pillar is going to alternate observer, redstone block, observer, redstone block, observer, redstone block, observer, and the observer is going to point into wool blocks like this, and then in between there are going to be glass blocks. These have to be non-solid, so they cannot conduct redstone power, and these wool blocks, they do have to be solid, so they can be basically any solid block. And to push these pillars back down again, we have some more pistons up here, and then to trigger power these pistons, we're gonna have this repeater right here that's going to be powered by that redstone block. An observer is going to power that piston, and then you also need a sticky piston and a block right there, and that is going to update these 2 observers. And then you need 3 observers right here, of which only 1 is needed right now for the sides, but the other 2 will be necessary for the triple extender, so you can just place them already. So that is basically it for like the engine, if you will. And then for the inputs into the pistons, you're gonna place some observers on the sides of these glass blocks, and they're going to point into these pistons right here. So these are your double extenders, and then on the side of these wool blocks you're gonna place some more observers facing into the wall, and then your extra storage pistons will go right here. So this is it, almost, I should say. So we need a couple of more repeaters right here to make the double extenders work. Okay, so what's gonna happen first is this pillar will extend, updating those little guys up there, and that will push out these first blocks. 1 tick later, this pillar will be pushed up, and the observer will power this wool block right here, and thus powering these storage pistons, pushing in the next set of blocks. And then these repeaters will have turned on, extending these pistons, and also triggering these observers right here. But since there are no blocks right here anymore, because know they're in the door frame now. They won't power anything. And then this sticky piston will also update these observers, and that will push all these pillars down again. And when this pillar goes down, it also updates that observer. But it does that a little too quickly, so these pistons have not fully retracted yet, so these pistons will not retract the blocks again. So let's take a look at that. So as you could see, these pistons did not retract these blocks because it was just a little too quick. But it will do that on the opening, so what will happen on the opening is essentially the same. So first, this pillar goes up, triggering this row of pistons. After that, the storage pistons will retract those blocks, these pistons will extend, and then these observers will trigger, but now there are blocks right here. So these pistons, when they're in this position, will grab these blocks right here, then this will retract. And the reason that this pillar pushes down a little bit later on the opening is because of this. So basically have this setup, and when you power, or when you give it a 1-tick pulse here, when it's pushing the block in, it instantly updates that observer, like this. But when it's pulling it back, it first has to extend, so that takes a little bit more time. So it'll update the observer a little bit later, and that allows these pistons to retract just quick enough for these observers to power them and do the last retraction. Just like that. So that is basically the sides. It's the same redstone that does both the closing and the opening. So now we're gonna copy that over to the left side. Just like this, and then our glass blocks. Observer, redstone block, observer, redstone block, observer, redstone block, observer. And then wool, glass, wool, glass, wool, glass, wool. And then you can place your double extenders. And this sticky piston right here. And then let's just get rid of this. The observers facing into the pistons right behind the glass blocks, and then 3 observers facing into the wall on the side of these wool blocks. And then you can place your storage pistons like this. And we need a stone slab here because there is going to be an observer down there, and we do not want that to power that sticky piston. So, but the rest is still the same. So 3-tick repeaters into these back pistons, and then we need an observer right there. And then this is a little bit different from that side, and that's because of the triple extender. So we're gonna have an observer here, just above that 3-tick repeater, and then another 3-tick repeater here, and then our 2 normal pistons again. And that should be it for that side, I believe. Let's test it out. Yep, it seems to work. So let's now continue to the triple extender. So this is going to be your extra storage piston, and this is your triple extender layout. So the way this layout works is it pushes out that one, and then pushes that piston in. It's done the triple extension, and then it's going to retract like that. Okay, so we're gonna need an unmovable but solid block here. So I've chosen a furnace, and then that is gonna be our first pulse, already done. Then a 4-tick repeater here, into an observer and for a hopper, and then an observer that's going to detect that hopper. So that is almost the closing complete. Let's just fill in the ceiling right here. And we're gonna need an observer there and there. And then that's gonna power that dust, which is going to power that storage piston. So that is the closing complete. And now the triple extender. Okay, so first of all, we're gonna need a sticky piston and an observer right here. Then we're gonna need an observer down here, an observer facing away, and then a block right next to that sticky piston, 2 observers, and then a block and a 1-tick repeater, and then a hopper right there that's going to be powered by that observer right here. And after that, we're gonna build a hopper dropper monostable. So a dropper facing to the side, and a dropper back into that hopper, hopper back into the dropper I mean, a single item, and then a comparator output right here into that 3-tick repeater, and another 3-tick repeater here, and another one there, 2-tick repeater there, and then a block there, and then a hopper right here and an observer here. And that's going to be your triple extender. Or not. Ah, I forgot a dropper right here. What's the best way to place this? Okay. Okay, now it should work. Yes. So for a second there it looks like it's going to break, but it's just very slow. And that's because of this monostable here. So I needed something with like 3 ticks delay, but it's a 3.5 tick pulse, and it's triggered twice, so that's some extra delay right there. So it's very slow, but it works, so it's good enough. And then we can do the bottom. Okay, so we can fill in the floor, and then place our storage pistons, and we need 2 more pistons down here and also down here, and we can build our double extender, and then 2 observers right there, and then 2 redstone blocks right there. So the way that the bottom works is a similar idea to the sides. It's again the same circuit for opening and closing. So what's gonna happen is at first, let's do that right here. Yes, at first that one's gonna pulse, so that is going to be done by that hopper. That's going to update this observer, and that will trigger this piston, like that. Then that top piston pulls in the observer, thereby updating or powering this storage piston, then both are going to extend like this, and that observer will be updated but it doesn't have anything to power, so nothing happens. And that redstone block is powering this bottom piston, and then that bottom piston will pull in the redstone block, again updating the observer, but it has nothing to power, so nothing happens. And the same happens on this side, and then extending, and then the bottom one retracts. So then this one is pulled in again by this observer right here, and then the same thing happens, so that one pulls in, it retracts the block, both extend, and now there's a block on top of the observer, so the double extender grabs the block, and that one pulses, retracting this piston, again updating the observer, and now it can butt power that piston. Then this block is pushed down, and again that one pulls in, the storage piston grabs the block, both of these piston extends, and that's the start of the double extender and the end of the double extender. So that is the basic idea behind the double extenders. So now for the redstone, a couple observers and 4 tick repeaters, like that, and then an observer right here, an observer right there, and then a block and an updater piston. And for this side it's going to be a dust on top of that block, and then a slab that's going to power this piston, and then some delay to power it again, and then this pillar is going to update this observer, that's going to power this. So okay, this is the wrong way around, so just fix that, and then place the storage piston back where it's supposed to, and it should now all work. So the closing is done, and the opening works as well. Okay, so that is your crazy compact 555 complete. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.